Dharma Santos-Santiago, the forum is yours.
Yeah, lovely. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dharma Santos-Santiago, and I'm the Clean Water Associate at Environmental Advocates NY. And as a leading New York nonprofit fighting for a safe climate, clean water, and healthier communities for all, we thank the Environmental Conservation Committee today for the opportunity to speak at this hearing. And today I will be speaking on the impacts neonics have on drinking water and public health. In New York, neonic use has increased significantly in the past 15 years, and between 2004 and 2014 alone, neonic use increased 12-fold, which has led to serious drinking water and public health consequences. In recent decades, the public and scientists alike have raised concern about the overwhelming presence of toxic chemicals in our food and environment. Again, this isn't new. Whether it be cancer-causing glyphosate or PFAS chemicals, New Yorkers are being bombarded with chemicals every day, and neonics are no exception. Studies show that over half of the U.S. population are exposed to neonics, with the highest levels found in young children, which was touched on earlier in previous testimonies. Also touched on was the fact that scientists have already linked neonics to harmful health effects in various species, and are more recently beginning to reflect the dangers neonics pose to humans, especially young children. And the medical experts have conveyed time and time again that science is robust enough for action. And we're now seeing the repercussions of increased neonic usage in our state's water. USGS has run multiple studies for various water sampling across the state. And for surface water sampling for imidacloprid, results show that nearly all detections of imidacloprid exceeded the EPA's benchmark for harm to aquatic species. And when tested for in groundwater, it was also found most notably in Long Island. These detections lead scientists to suspect that streams and wetlands receiving groundwater are also being contaminated, which may further threaten ecosystem health. And the data strongly indicates that other neonics are most likely present in our water bodies as well, and the aggregate of these chemicals is likely causing ecosystem-wide damage. And although none of the detections of imidacloprid exceeded, these drinking water standards that my colleague referenced earlier, the emerging science on neonics indicates that human health risks have been considerably underestimated. And we must continue monitoring and mitigation, especially in the ways of passing the Birds and Bees Protection Act, for drinking water bodies, and as we continue to understand the risks of these toxic chemicals. Furthermore, the presence of neonics in our drinking water is especially concerning due to the inefficacy of our water system's conventional filtration techniques in removing them. This is particularly worrisome for New Yorkers that receive their drinking water from older treatment systems or from unfiltered sources such as private wells, which we estimate is about 800,000 private wells. Modern filtration techniques do show promise of removals, such as granulated activated carbon filters, also known as GAC filters, but these systems are not yet commonplace statewide, most notably being implemented in areas of PFAS contamination found with the recent passage of drinking water standards for New York. It's evident that New York does not have the infrastructure to properly mitigate the risks neonic contamination already presents in our drinking water, and therefore New York must not continue to allow these harmful insecticides into our water supply and place the public in harm's way. EANY encourages the New York State Legislature to join growing global efforts to minimize all unnecessary outdoor uses of neonics by passing the Birds and Bees Protection Act. The bill prohibits neonic-treated corn, wheat, and soybean seeds, and non-agricultural turf and ornamental uses of neonics. Again, are only very specific uses of neonics. It's not an outright ban on the use of neonics in the state of New York. These uses are the bulk of New York's neonic contamination, over 70%, and yet are considered to offer little to no benefits to consumers or can be easily replaced with safer alternatives. With the lack of comprehensive monitoring efforts and substantial infrastructure to remove these toxic chemicals from our water, New York must address the primary sources of contamination and pass the Birds and Bees Protection Act. and we look forward to working with Chairman Engelbright and the State Assembly to pass this science-based common sense legislation in the upcoming session. Thank you.